What do you think about or imagine before bed? Pretty much every night without fail. I end up imagining a relationship scenario as I fall asleep. Sometimes I think about sex. But I mainly imagine sharing my bed with someone I really care about. My legs intertwined with theirs. Being able to breathe in their scent. And feeling safe and warm beside them. Although I've never experienced this kind of thing in real life. And I'm sure my imaginings are a bit off. It makes me really happy to think about. I hope I'll be able to experience that with someone soon. What do you all think about before bed? Edit. All of your comments are so interesting. I was sure that most everyone would have a similar answer to me. But everyone actually seems to think a variety of different thoughts before bed. THX for all the responses. This may not be where you were going with this, but I tend to have a lot on my mind before and while I'm in bed. Whether it be stress or anxiety about life or deadlines or just a full head after a long day. I find it to be very distracting and difficult to really relax. A teacher and a male figure I truly look up to and respect shared with me his routine before bed. He imagines big heavy curtains in front of him, and as he walks through each one, it takes with it one of his worries from the day. Sometimes he says it takes him quite a few to get to a clear mind. It may not work for everyone. But the act of identifying what is on your mind and resolving it, or acknowledging that you have to take care of it the next day, helps me relax when I get in bed. I've done this since I was a kid. Still did it up until recently. I play out a scenario in my head. Make dialogue. Usually a fantasy crush. I pretend to sleep and cuddle etc. and eventually fall asleep. I have a better method now though. I usually think about my current hobby. Like painting or something like that. Since this is nice to think about and I want to do more of it, I usually can't fall asleep while thinking about it. My boss gave me advice. If I have too much in my head to fall asleep, I should think 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and only that. While thinking about 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, I can't really think about anything else and I don't have to concentrate. Of course other thoughts try to come in and disturb the counting, but I just have to remind myself to count again. It kind of empties your mind. It might not work for everyone, but it works well for me. Great question. I have a few fantasies that I imagine. One is where I'm an NFL quarterback. Another is where I'm a character in Star Wars, etc. When I'm having a tough time getting to sleep, I go through various favorite memories of my girlfriend. The campfire at the beach. Swimming at the waterfalls. Horseback riding. Sex. etc. Going to sleep is an exercise in desperately trying to think for me. How It's Made and shitty World War II documentaries are great for that. Put on some shit like Nazi mega weapons and I'm out. I think about almost anything that brings me joy. My friends. My girlfriend. My plans, haha. I imagine being Superman. Flying. Being invulnerable. It's comforting. My legs intertwined with theirs. And then you get married and it's like get off my side of the bed. About the same things as you do most of the time. About why I am a 23M without a single so in my life. About what I could have done in some past scenarios and what could have made it end better / worse. About when am I gonna off myself and so forth. Really the usual stuff. I sometimes think about things I'd love to do. My current one is building an off-the-grid cabin in the middle of nowhere. Ah, that would be awesome. Fantasies I have a lot. Sometimes it's just domestic ones. Of being someone different, like maybe if I did something different, or maybe just me with the family. A lot of times it's kinda epic fantasies where I'm like a mage who live in a secret underground magic society with a pet dragon. Or I'm a pie in the 20s. Or I'm a movie star. I used to think about my hobbies. But I would get too excited and bummed I couldn't do them right then. I'm happily married, so obviously I'm in a different place in my life. When I was younger it was typically me fantasizing about sexual scenarios. And to be brutally honest, I still fantasize before falling asleep. Except it's typically about food. Thinking about great meals I've had or dishes I've spied at a restaurant I want to check out. I mean, it's definitely porny. Like all good food shots. But not sexual so much anymore. I frequently imagine I'm lying down behind a Remington 700 in some far-flung war zone. The covers are my ghillie suit. I never actually see the target before I pass out. Is that weird? I think about the music or movie I play. There must be always something. Otherwise I cannot fall asleep. I'm one of the ones who thinks of nothing. Seriously. I also fall asleep in like 3 minutes or less. I'm pretty lucky.